welcome to Drink of Thrones, the show where we discuss everything Thrones. And of course,
We drink while doing it
my name is Louie and I'm here.
with Jasmine.
All right, Jasmine. So why don't we start, as promised, by cracking our. Hey.
They're a little tougher than it.
Not as. Not as
We
not
thought it
as-
was gonna be a clean,
Not as
like,
cool. Yeah, we discussed it. We discussed this before. We're like, hey, let's open them when the show starts, so we can get the dramatic
Don't
effect.
try this at home, kids.
I guess we should have practiced first with another one, right?
I guess.
But
I,
how about,
all right.
well, we're drinking Smirnoff spicy tamarind. Now, we are Latinos or Latina or Latinx, whatever you prefer, Jasmine. And we do like our tamarind, I would say. And I've never tried this before.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So if you like spicy stuff, 10/10 recommend if you can get spicy tamarindo Smirnoff. But anyways,
Okay. Now, as we do almost every show, and we're going to actually continue this tradition, we're going to start off with the drinking game. And this time, the question giver is going to be Jasmine. Please set up your drinking game.
all right, just grabbing my notes here.
Okay. I always get nervous right before.
Right. All right. So for today's segment, we
Yeah.
are gonna go ahead and bring back an oldie but a goodie. Also, we
From
only
2 weeks ago.
we only have 4 episodes.
Yeah.
All right, but for today's segment, it'll be called "Do You Even Throne Bro?"
Okay. Part 2.
In other words, just trivia.
Okay.
So, all right.
So, what are the rules, real quick? Is it the same as always? If I get the most answers correct, if I get more answers correct than wrong, then you lose and you will drink a shot, which I didn't pour, by the way.
All good.
Okay. And then if I get more wrong questions, since you provided the questions, then I lose, and then I take the shot.
Yes,
Is there an odd or even number like I messed up last week?
there is an odd number.
Perfect. There will be no tie.
So, yeah. So basically, again, really fast. We're gonna
Yep.
try to get through these fast. Basically, we just want to get a shot in. So if you're at home and you want to go ahead and play along,
Yep.
or if you want to write these down or ask somebody else, then
Yeah.
go ahead and play along. And
Do
again,
whatever you want.
Yeah, pour your shot.
Yep.
Pour your shot if you want to play along. Okay. And let us know if you got all of them right. If you got all of them wrong.
Okay.
So let's get started. Louis,
Yes.
are you ready?
No.
Are you
Nope.
pumped?
I'm a little pumped. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 1. Again, this is trivia. Just to preface, it is going to be House of the Dragon centered.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly going to be. Want to see if you paid attention last episode.
Yep. Oh
So, season 1,
Yeah.
episode 3, second of his name, and then there's like a little bonus one. That's the one that's odd. So the number 7.
shit. Okay.
So, okay. Question 1. Daemon Targaryen attacks the army of Prince Drahar, the crab feeder, with his dragon Caraxes. Where does Drahar's army retreat to?
Inside the caves.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it.
Okay.
Okay. For what event does King Viserys hold a celebration with visitors from many prominent families?
For his son Aegon, second of his name, for his name's day. It was his second birthday.
You got it.
Woo.
Okay. 2 out of 2. Number 3. In episode 3, King Viserys' new master of ships implores him to take action and send aid to Daemon and Corlys after 3 years of providing no assistance. What is King Viserys' master of ships called? And from which house is he?
God damn it. He's from House Lannister.
Okay, so
And his name, it's not Jason. Is it Jason? Jason's the other-
Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister. I'm a
Tywin
failure.
Lannister.
Okay.
I would give you half credit, but I didn't get half credit for Glass last week. So
Okay.
next question is going to be King Viserys Targaryen
Yes.
tries to betroth his daughter Rhaenyra to Jason Lannister. What does Jason tell Rhaenyra he can build for her at his castle on Castle D Rock?
A dragon
I know-
den. Dragon dens.
Mm,
Dragon stable? They're not stables.
So you were paying half attention. Dragon pit.
Dragon pit semantics, but it's
So,
okay. What's the score? I'll take the loss.
All right.
Is
so,
it 2-2?
So far, you have 2-2.
Okay.
Yes. So we're half here. All right. Question number 5. This is speed round. Remember.
Okay.
Lenore, at the battle. Sorry, at the Battle of the Stepstones, Lenore Valerian helps Daemon by riding his dragon and taking out the archers of the Triarchy. What is the name of Lenore's dragon?
Is it
Lenore.
Sea Smoke?
Damn, I really thought. Yes, Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Number 6.
Also, it's a nice name.
Question. Yeah, it's a nice name.
Yeah.
Especially like given his heritage.
I would name mine like the dumbest fucking shit, like Billy or something. I would not have a creative mind. Anyways, go ahead, baby.
Dumbstone. Anyways, 6. At the start of House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Is how many years is it set before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen?
Is it 174?
172.
You
So
son of a bitch.
close. All right. Question number 7.
What's the score?
So far, you have
3-3.
Yeah, 3-3.
Is this the last question?
This is the last question.
Okay.
Question number 7 for the tiebreaker. In episode 4, King Viserys makes mention of the prophecy of A Song in Ice and Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows Rhaenyra the blade, which references the prince that was promised.
Yeah.
What other name is the prince referenced to in Game of Thrones and in the novels?
Oh my god. I wonder if I know. Is it Azor Ahai? Is it?
Azor Ahai. I don't know who Azor Ahai is.
It's wow.
So
Is that wrong or wrong? Right or wrong?
It's wrong. No, it's right.
Okay. No, but it's Azor
You
Ahai.
pronounced it incorrectly, but I'm going to give it to you because
Okay.
I am a nice,
Also,
understanding person.
I came in with the D-bag attitude because I kind of thought I knew it, and then I was like, she got shut down with that
Yeah.
D.
Hard.
All right. So,
Okay,
do we,
so
so
it looks like you won, but I think we should still both take shots.
because I said Azor Ahai. and
Azor
now I-
Ahai, and this isn't that
Oh.
70s show. We're not talking about Hyde.
Okay.
Just kidding. But I would give you credit for
Okay.
it. But I think, in all fairness, we should both take shots.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So
So we got a little tequila going on again.
we got a little tequila until we finish that battle.
Yeah.
We will be having tequila.
Yeah. Maybe season 2. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
For something new. Okay. So.
All right. So I'll go ahead and pour those shots, and then.
Can I make a suggestion? Can I get the glass that looks like wildfire?
Oh.
You didn't even think about that, huh?
Only because you kind of won. No,
and-
you won. You won.
No, that's fine. I was trying to come up with what the other glass looks like.
Nothing we've seen. Is there a purple house? Oh.
I'm sure there is.
Oh no, I over poured it. And it happened to be the one that looks like
How
wildfire.
bummed would you be if your house colors are purple? Even though I think
I don't think I'd be that bummed. Why is that not a good thing?
I don't know. I just feel like what am I, Prince?
Well, also
He was royalty.
purple is for royalty
I know. What do you think Prince used it? Oh, you all the way to the tip
because it
top.
rained purple on him once.
All right, baby.
All right,
Cheers.
ready? All right, cheers, everyone.
Whoop. Here we go. A little salt.
Okay. Not that bad, but still not great.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay. First scene we see is Rhaenyra has a line, right? The side, like a Disney line of suitors, and they're all just
Yeah, they're waiting to write Space Rhaenyra.
yeah, and exactly, and they're all making their pitch, right? Why
Old,
they should
young.
like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You got it. If
Yeah.
they got a peepee, they are trying to marry the princess.
I was gonna say get it in, but
Yeah. And how would you pitch your proposal to her?
I'd be like, "Hey, I'm really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really chill. You wanna hang out
Yeah.
sometime?"
Yeah. I'm really into watching documentaries and music. I like music a lot. And
You know that
I'm a Cancer, and like just the dumbest shit. Well, anyways, um,
You know that song about Nymeria and her ships? Love it.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so then old, young, everyone's going. So she does a little jest because there is a really old guy, and she's like, "Yeah, you knew my grandmother, right? Like, was she hot?"
yeah,
And he's like, "That was a long time ago." And she's like, "I know."
eh, got him.
Right? Yeah, it
That's
was a nice burn.
that was a wicked burn.
Yeah,
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 it's like I was
yeah.
like, she doesn't need a dragon to Dracarys somebody, huh?
Yeah,
She
hella
fucking
Dracarys.
Dracarys his ass.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we're gonna start saying that. If you got burned, you got Dracarys.
Dracarys bitches.
Yeah, and well, so she she Dracarys the old man, and then up comes a little boy, maybe about what 13, and there's always those guys in high school that are like 12 and look like they're 48. Not this kid, right? He looks young, and
Yeah.
he's
They used an
able-
actual actor that was like the age, I think
Yeah,
that they.
correct.
Yeah.
And he's talking. He's throwing his pitch out there. It's an old house. We were there um, years ago, and we're prepared to be there whenever you need us. Blah blah blah. And then here comes this other guy that Dracarys, that kid, right? He burned it. He
Yeah.
just fucking
I think it's important to mention he's from the Blackwoods too.
yes.
They're like older ones, just like the Starks have the blood of the first men. They're more from the north area, so they are fairly like solid house. They're just not like city folk, right?
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
some guy starts just like kind of picking on his ass, and then he starts saying,
yeah,
"Well, she has dragons, you stupid cunt," or whatever
yeah,
he
and
told
she
them.
giggles, and then
Yeah, and she was kind of being like,
no, she was
little-
definitely being like Mean Girls energy.
yeah,
Yeah, and then she's like, these are a bunch of clowns, a little kid, an old guy. Like, also the dichotomy of that is pretty like,
yeah. So she's like,
Yeah.
you know what?
She
They start
dips.
fighting. She goes, "I'm leaving," and then obviously it goes. I didn't think the kid was gonna win, but he does. He kills the other guy.
Yeah.
And that was really brief, but we get a glimpse at what Rhaenyra is going through. Like, she needs to marry, and she needs to make a decision, and then here's all kinds of people. So it's just like, it seems like it's super stressful.
well, it's also like her dad told her, you're gonna have a choice to choose your suitor. So he
Yeah.
sets up this like 3-month long thing
Yeah.
where they're just gonna be suitor after suitor, so she gets to choose. She gets over it because she doesn't really like anybody she sees.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Sir Kristen Cole was in the lineup, that things would be different.
Yeah.
Um,
we can talk about that later, huh?
Right? I know.
Um,
And then she decides, nah, like I'm gonna dip, goes back home.
Yeah.
And then right as she's going home on the ships, we see, who do we see in the sky?
well, we see the half giraffe, half dragon, Daemon. He's returning to King's Landing after 3 years. And of course, he does it in an asshole fashion,
Yeah.
like not knowing that he almost killed Rhaenyra.
He's like, oh, Targaryen flags.
Yeah, and then she hit her head really hard, man.
Yeah,
You
just
know?
a mild concussion.
Yeah, who fucking figured that she would need a helmet to not to ride the dragon, but to go on a boat ride? Anywho, he comes back, and everybody gathers. They don't know what he's gonna say, how he's gonna act, what the fuck. He comes into the throne room, and there's a ton of people gathered, and he is wearing a crown. Also, haircut, which I did not approve of, and did not like.
It started growing on me towards the end, but
It
I didn't.
Really did.
I thought it was okay at the end, but
Yeah.
it really did give me like Fantastic Sam's supercuts at first. Like he can't,
Yeah.
like,
He gave me
but I didn't mind it at the end.
and I know I keep referencing this. I referenced it but he gave me that Miranda Priestley hair, like the Devil Wears Prada thing. I don't like it.
Oh,
Yeah, don't like it.
she's fashionable, though. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, still.
But anyways, yeah.
Anyways,
he
the
comes
haircut's bad.
through, and I mean, he's giving off this facade, like of, hey, I'm the younger brother that went on this valiant war, and like
Mhm.
I know who the true king is. They crowned me,
Yeah.
but I know who the true king is, right?
Yeah.
Like he's giving his whole spiel of like, there's nothing really Viserys can. He would look like an asshole if he banishes him after this war hero that comes back, offers him his sword, and you know,
Yeah.
offers him the crown, his crown, right?
Yeah.
So we all think, whoa, is Damon changed?
Yeah. And then, well, we find out whether he's changed or not, right?
Yeah, but Viserys embraces him, so obviously, like,
Yeah. So
they're good.
everybody's kind of just holding their breath to see
Everybody
what Viserys is
claps.
gonna say, and then the king finally like embraces him, tells him to rise, and all of that. But, um, yeah, and then we go to the scene where they're kind of just having a feast outside, and he sees and talks to Rhaenyra for the first time in years, and they still kind of get a kick out of each other, right?
Yeah.
She very much enjoyed that he was taunting her father.
Westerosi
when he was,
barbecue at the
Westerosi
Westerosi
barbecue,
barbecue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he catches up with her. I mean, he sees her there, and then but most importantly, in that particular part of the episode, I thought it was um, the exchange with Rhaenyra and Allison that was um, kind of a relationship that might be rekindling, right? Their friendship. She kind of, you see Rhaenyra expresses her feelings about what she is being required to do, right? To marry somebody, and then that's it's super fucked up, right? When I have to do this now, man. I have to, and for a woman is a little different than a guy, and so she is. It's a daunting task for her, and but at the same time, she's expressing why it is, right? What am I just gonna sit in a castle and just make fucking kids? And then be a prisoner in a castle, and then that's exactly what Allison's going through. And as she said it, she didn't say it, I think, on purpose, but she did say it, and she noticed that it hurt Allison's feelings, or that it made Allison sad, because that's what she's going through. But what did you think about that exchange?
Well, I think at this point, because the way that they started talking really was her dad. Now that Damon's there and they're broing out and stuff, he disregarded Allison, like telling her, he's like, oh, maybe he wants to look at the tapestries, and he's like, yeah, he wants to look at the tapestries, and they're like, you know, like,
he was a dick, huh?
Yeah, and then later on, Rhaenyra's like, well, I haven't seen them, you know, and they're like, well, maybe you should go look at them then.
So maybe you should take the private tour or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like, at this point, if you think about it, Viserys disregarded both of them.
Yeah.
Both of, like, the most important women in his life.
Yeah.
Because there's more important things, right? There's another dude here that I care about too.
Yeah.
And so now they're kind of vibing over the fact that there's all these obligations that they have, and things are expected of them because they're of the position that they are, independent of how they feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of where I think Rhaenyra started to see, like, oh shit, like, yeah, she was my friend, and now she kind of understands a little bit more. She's saying things that I understand, given, like, you know, you're just the queen, and then now you're just the princess, so you have to fulfill your obligations because you hold this position.
Yeah.
Everyone's fighting over you know, who's going to be at the throne or who has the most power, but Rhaenyra was born into it, and Alicent was kind of thrown into it also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, that conversation was very nice to see them. Potentially they could be closer than ever.
Well, they have a lot in common. Aside from being friends, they have a lot in common where one of them was told to go and seduce or try to land a relationship that hopefully would lead into a marriage, and it did, with the king. The other one's being told to kind of do that with somebody else that comes from a noble house. One of them resisted and is still resisting, and the other one, you know, listened.
One was born into a position where they could resist, right? More so. I mean,
you could argue that Rhaenyra was born into a position where you can resist less.
I don't know, but at the same time, you're right. They both have a connection to Viserys' wiener.
No, nobody said that. But okay,
you know.
So then we finally have the interaction with Daemon and Rhaenyra one-on-one in the Godswood tree section, where they love going. It's a very pretty stuff.
Well, it's because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the Godswood wasn't that's something that the show creators put in,
Mm-hmm.
because originally it wasn't there. They only put it in until like a Blackwood was married into or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But in either case, I think it's definitely a beautiful place where they have it. But it's definitely a place, I think, where these characters go to be honest about stuff, right? Like to just kind of like
Yeah.
talk like in an uninhibited way. There's really nobody there. Like
Yeah.
there's no guards. There's nothing other than like that little section. Rainier goes to bed there and like chill.
So she sees Damon there, and Damon is somewhat, I don't know, like, I'm not saying that he's praying or meditating, but it seems like he's having some sort of cathartic moment there, alone in peace, probably gathering his thoughts as to maybe what's going on, what its next move's going to be, and all of that. So they have a conversation there. You can, it's almost it seems that with them two, it's always like automatic clicking again, right? They're on the same wavelength, and they pick up right where they start.
Yeah, they're both really like they have an understanding to
Yeah.
where we're the black sheep. We know what it's like to maybe go against what is expected of you, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So they are definitely on that same wavelength, like you're saying. So they're having that moment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And but then we cut to the council meeting with the king, the hand, and the other people in the meeting, and they're discussing some issues that are on hand. And the biggest issue is that Corliss, the sea snake, apparently arranged marriage with his daughter to one of the free cities, one of the families of the free cities that apparently has a lot of power too, and that obviously becomes a threat to the realm, because they're one of the richest family, right? From Westeros is going to unite with probably one of the richest family from the free cities, and they're not part of the realm, right? And the other ones are in the realm, but they're right now it's a little shaky with them, and obviously that can be an issue in the future. So that's kind of what's going on, and they're discussing that, and obviously now they're saying, well, maybe we have to do something similar and tie our bonds with Westeros again with one of the most powerful houses, maybe with Rhaenyra.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the crab feeder was a problem, he was funded by the free cities,
Yeah.
right? So he was a problem
Yeah.
then alone. So I mean, also if anybody catches wind that that's happening and Corliss decides to get on Westeros,
Yeah.
I mean they were victorious in the Stepstone battle. That's not something Viserys could do, or
Yeah.
he didn't try to do. So yeah, definitely a threat. And the resolution to that threat in the council's mind is let's marry off Rhaenyra. Then the problem goes away, right? Because now we can have everything.
Yeah.
That's the unifying factor. But yeah, and then at that point, they kind of have that discussion. So it goes hand in hand with their taking away Viserys's promise, right? Like she no longer will have the opportunity to choose her suitor.
Yeah.
Which is,
but honestly, man, I don't think she's seen Laenor. But out of all the people that I've seen so far, I think she'll be happy that it's not the old guy and the boy that just maybe started learning how to wipe his ass right. Like
they're also not giving them like they're not giving her like prime rib, right?
No.
They're giving her people who she knows she's not gonna marry. Nobody's really scouting these suitors or telling her like, dude, this is a really cool prospect for you, blah blah blah. They're just like, hey, these are all the fools that want to get with you.
Yeah, do they have a noble name behind? Like,
yeah.
Yes, all right, that's all we need.
Yeah, but I think that also goes to show Viserys doesn't really take into account, which we'll talk about later. But he doesn't really go to her to ask her anything. Like he's scared of her. I feel like talking with her, which a lot of parents are scared of talking to their teens,
but not enough to include her in things.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
so
we'll get to that in.
But yeah, but then it goes hand in hand with the next scene, right?
Yeah.
Like we cut to Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's like going back to her room, and then she goes in. So Kristen Cole at her door.
Yeah.
I don't know who could sleep with him at the door. But anyways, goes in, and then she finds this bag, starts to empty out the bag, and there's these clothes, boy clothes, and she sees this map.
Yeah, she becomes Dora the Explorer all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's definitely that energy.
Yeah.
And it's a scavenger hunt. I would say it's a scavenger hunt. I don't think it is. It's like, but anyways.
No, because, well, I guess you can look at it that way. The way I saw it is like, here's a secret passage, and, enter if you dare.
But also, well, I read it like, hey, do this, right? Change it to these boy clothes. It's all in Valerian, so obviously it's coming from Daemon.
Yeah. When you get to this place, you're going to see a guy, and his name is Tim. Tell him you like butterflies.
Yeah.
And then when he says, what's the password? And just say, idiot, I like butterflies. He lets you in at that point.
Then you see a blonde guy. Yeah. No eyebrows. That's me.
Yeah. You reach your destination.
Yeah. So it was very much that. She goes through this passage. She's all like, cool, right? Because it's something new.
Yeah.
She's never really snuck out like that.
Yeah. Also, she wears an outfit that one could describe as the little kid from the Big Daddy movie.
Yeah, she's definitely a third Sprouse brother. Yeah. She looks just like that.
Yeah, she's a triplet. I didn't know that. I thought they were twins. It turns out they're triplets.
No.
Yeah, it turns out they're triplets.
And so she ends up meeting Daemon, right?
Yeah, and he takes her on an adventure and it seems so silly, right? But we see it in other movies with royalty. And like goes
Aladdin.
I was thinking Aladdin.
The whole time I was like, dude, this is like Aladdin. Like
Princess Jasmine.
Yeah, she's going on the outskirts of town and she's seeing all these exotic things.
Yeah.
Fire breathers, people boning. Like it's all there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Jasmine did that, but
well, they're not gonna tell us in a Disney movie.
Yeah,
she does.
But anyways, it was something like that where I was like, it's so funny how to them it's like, ooh, I'm being naughty, and meanwhile it's just like.
We're like,
millions of people have to do it. They have no choice, right? But anyways, she's amongst the people of Westeros, and then she's walking around and she's excited. It's an adventure, and she sees all kinds of things. But among the things that she sees, it's there's a crowd gathered, and they're watching a play, one of those puppet plays that they have, and then of course, oh no, it wasn't a puppet play; it was a regular. And then they have it's about the royal family. And it's not something that is paints her in a good light, right? So they're talking about the royal family in the play, and they're talking about how the king now has a son, and this is Princess Rhaenyra, and then the actress playing Princess Rhaenyra farts, and it's
also a dude with like a full on like obviously not supposed to be like an attractive guy, not supposed to look like her at all, not even. She's obviously not a dude, right? So that's also gives you
we did
insight.
just call her a little boy that looked from the Big Daddy movie. So
yeah, but none of those little boys have full on beards.
Just saying.
So they obviously it paints a picture of who wants a female heir, right?
Nobody does.
We finally got a male heir. Who's going to be the king? Who's going to be the queen? And she still tries to, everyone's going boo, and she's going, no, she's going, yay, boo to Aegon. Like, she's kind of ragging on the other way, but they're like, nah, dude. Yeah. Daemon's like, see, this is what people think. Nobody wants a female heir. But, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, like, I'm thinking, maybe that's how he's trying to convince her. Maybe he's trying to convince her too. Like, yeah, you should, because like you should marry someone and someone you like, right? And have that heir. We'll get into like the details later, but I'm like, now that makes more sense to me. Why he would convince her. Earlier in the Godswood too, he's talking about how, dude, you just got to do your duty. It's just transaction. Just do it. You can fuck whoever you want to fuck later, That's essentially
what he was saying. Like, one thing is, it's for political advantage, but you can take what you want. And these people come in here to take what they want.
Well, that's what he shows her later, right? We haven't really gotten to that, but that's what he shows her. But I'm saying, like, this whole, even taking her to that play, like, even that is also kind of trying to convince her to an extent, right?
Yeah, people aren't ready for you.
They're
just not.
But she also says, like, no, people just want shit that's easy. They don't want to think about it. They want it to be automatically feel like it's the correct puzzle piece. But sometimes, there's a little bit missing, and you gotta jab it in there.
Mm.
But yeah,
Um,
so then at that point, she knows kind of how people feel about her. She's kind of seen like she's kind of excited by like all of these things that are new, and she's kind of here for it. And
yeah.
then we kind of cut back. Well, no, we okay, let's go into how later on Damon wants to show her something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wants to show her.
Classic guy move. Hey,
Yeah, let me show you
let's
something.
let's go to this dark
L-
alley. Let me show you something.
yeah, leads her
Yeah.
into the equivalent of a strip club,
Yeah.
right? Where
Well, not really,
well,
but
consensual. Yeah, maybe in Amsterdam.
yeah, I guess so.
But anyways, leads her down in there, so she's kind of like looking like all around her, and it's a brothel, and everyone's kind of like, enjoying having sex. Where
Mm-hmm.
before maybe she thought it's like, I don't want to have a kid because that's just, it killed my mom. It's just doing your duty. I know that's what people expect of me, but she didn't realize that it could be pleasurable
Mm-hmm.
and she could enjoy having sex as well, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he was saying. Um, even though I think it backfires on Damon a little bit because she does
She,
have desire. She
yeah,
can't take control. And he didn't like that, right? He felt uncomfortable and it got him to stop. Even though because I don't know, I didn't think he was bluffing at the time,
mm.
right? But when push came to shove, one person was willing to go through with it and one was not. And that person that was willing to go through with it was Rhaenyra.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like they're two alike in that sense. Like she,
Yes.
because if you think about it, episode 1, he felt most at home, most comfortable. Like they gave him his place in the brothels.
Yeah.
That's why he felt like, that's where he's able to take back his power and feel like a prince.
Yeah.
Feel like feel like a king, really. And in this sense, her finding her finding power in her sexuality gave her that feeling too. He just he didn't think, she thought she would push his sexual advances away. I think he wanted to go through with it. I just think she was too ambitious and maybe he hoped that she would push him away and just tell his dad on him because he really wanted Viserys to get mad, right? But it started feeling too good and vice versa, and she was like, yeah, no, I'm feeling power in my sexuality in a way that I didn't know I could.
Yeah, and and then obviously that opened a whole new door, right? And we'll get to that part in a sec, but with Kristen, but in that moment, I do think that that the desire is there for Damon. I think I've noticed it, and obviously
You're right. You're right.
They've been hinting at that since episode 1. But however, in this particular scene, he was willing to take it so far and so far only. But
he's also mad at himself.
Yes, because he knows that was the wrong thing.
It was
to do.
too far, and he didn't feel good about it.
But she was game.
Well, she felt great about it.
Yeah.
And you know what though? It was at the same time. There's a scene in the midst of all this where we flash to Allison and how sex happens in the castle, right?
Yeah.
So
different.
Yes, and they showed those scenes kind of intertwined to show us, okay, well, this is Rhaenyra's experience. We already know Daemon's experience in the past. He feels at home at the whorehouses, but it's also because they call him king and like all this stuff.
Yeah, his is a little excuse.
His is more of an ego thing too. And then, but we see Rhaenyra and her experiences where they probably had, like she's probably
Also,
only born the king.
Yeah, yes, different.
It's a parallel.
Yes, I like it. I didn't notice it until you brought it up, by the way. But they almost had it back to back.
Yes.
Where we have the sex within the castle with somebody that's forced to be married to the king who's older, and then she's not into the guy, she's very young. And she's not into the sex either. She's not enjoying it. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't even. It appears that they don't even sleep together.
Well, even then, I don't think Viserys either necessarily knows how to enjoy sex or whatever. Like,
No.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think it kind of shows
He also
how.
doesn't try, right? Like maybe with his other wife, you can tell that they were in love.
Yes.
With his other wife.
Well, here it's a duty.
Here's like, but also I was like,
Yeah.
I feel a little horny. I think I could just like come real quick. Can I just come? Real
Yeah.
quick?
Well, you know
And
what?
then he probably went like,
He also.
enter.
He also.
My wife. I need to come. Go get her. You know, like it was more that.
Well, again, they said come a lot. I don't
They
know if you
do
guys
say-
noticed, but I was like, I turned to Louis and I was like, they keep saying come, man.
Yeah. they
And
keep saying come.
not a lot of them are coming.
Yeah.
Some of them are.
I feel like it in the one scene, a lot of, if not, by the end of the night,
Yeah.
a lot of the people we saw had come.
So, but
Maybe more than once.
But yeah, they definitely
God willing.
show that
Yeah.
parallel and on
Seven-
how it's so
7 blessings has a whole different meaning, I think, in that little room.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot, like it was very interesting to see the dichotomy of that and how the parallel of what it's like to, it's very robotic and very ceremonial and just kind of
Yeah.
like whatever. But even then, like Viserys gets off on kindness because he only called her. It was late. It's not normal for him to call her that late.
Yeah.
It was only because she,
The sponge bath.
yes,
Yeah.
your touch is gentler than theirs is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I sounded like a 1,000,000-year-old woman,
Yeah.
but Melisandre, but real Melisandre.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Without the necklace.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's very interesting to see. Everybody's kind of getting their own rendition of sex. But yes, so then Rhaenyra goes back to the castle because she's kind of like, dude, this fool.
What the hell?
She thought he went to bone somebody else, and I'm all hot and bothered.
Yeah.
Uncle didn't take care of me.
No.
Ooh.
Ugh. That was so gross.
I know, but it's what happened.
Oh, yuck.
As one
Anyways,
does.
Let's try to shake that off. And but anyways, he goes back and obviously who's there? Sir Kristen.
Sir hotness. I don't-
Yeah. Sir Kristen Hottie Cole. And
Sir Kristen Hot D.
the old move of I'm gonna take your helmet from you. And like, oh, I got your helmet. Ooh. I'm so sorry. Oh, do you want this helmet back?
Yeah.
I think you do.
Oh,
Oops, did I drop the helmet? Ooh.
Yeah, it was very much like your boss trying to take advantage of you that drops the pen and is like, oh, aren't you gonna
yeah.
get that?
Oh, yes.
I was like,
I didn't think
Rhaenyra's
about that. Yeah.
Rhaenyra's being the boss that's like trying to molest her.
Yeah. I'm not trying.
Well, and anyways, so yeah, so
So
they
they-
get into it. It takes
yeah.
them about an hour to get that armor
Yeah,
off.
they do the horizontal mambo.
It's
And obviously that's going to be awkward for them from this point on, maybe.
well, not for
We'll
her.
No, guess not for
For
her.
him, he's like,
Yeah, so we finally get to see Sir Kirsten Cole and the princess make the beast with 2 backs. And then we cut to, what do we have after that? We have the fucking kid that looks like a young William Dafoe, right?
Yeah,
And
he
like a
definitely-
goblin.
yeah.
He goes to into the castle and tells the hand Otto, hey,
he looked like a rat to me,
he did look like a
or
rat.
a little bird.
Yeah, or little bird. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that there we go. Now we have the sneakiness really showing up. The my birds whispered in.
Well,
the,
also that's been happening
yeah, it-
200 plus years.
Yeah, it's
apparently,
very effective and old technique.
Yeah. So
And he then has to tell the king of those things. So I guess he doesn't have to, but
yeah, he
Yeah,
has.
also it's for Otto is a great it's a great piece of information for him personally, right? Because his goal is to get his grandson to be the king, and this is one step closer the way he sees
yeah,
it.
but he also does care about Viserys. I think that's fairly apparent. And even in that little scene, like it's only like 2 seconds, but he goes into the sept and he's like, ugh, like it could not end well. It could end well.
Mhm.
Like you also, I think he does think like, well, if my daughter maybe
Mhm.
same situation, I would be mad.
Yeah.
Like, he's also not a stupid dude. Like, he's not a dumb guy.
No, he's probably one of the smartest ones, I think.
So he kind of goes and prays on it and is like, well, I gotta do it. Like,
Yeah.
my duty is to tell him what I got
Oh man, can
and
you
give
imagine?
counsel.
Hey, your daughter fucked your brother, or your brother fucked your daughter.
Well, especially he knows him, right? He's such an emotional dude where
Yeah.
he acts off of his emotions and things to where, like, this is not gonna go well. In
Yeah.
either case, it's not gonna go well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he has to go. He has to kind of tell him the news. Hey, so Rainier has been seen in a brothel, and I got this information. It's pretty solid information, and doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't even really want to take that as fact, right?
Yeah. Well, it's tough. I think it's tough. You know, your first trip to Westeros, you fuck your uncle. Come on. You know, maybe start with smoking a little weed or something. Um, but anyways, that happens, and then we cut to uh, the scene where um, uh, I think we skipped the scene, but it's all right. This is important, and I think that's more important of what people, you guys out there, are realizing. The scene where Damon is asleep and his mistress, not mistress, I guess he is married, so it would be a mistress, but her name is Massaria.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to be really important, and I think we get a glance at how important or what she's establishing right now, right? She admits that I figured out that I can only get so far by selling my skin, so I'm on to bigger and better things, and that it reminded me a little bit of Littlefinger, where he came from nothing, as opposed to most people, and he knew that information got you power, and it seems like she's starting, or not, maybe not starting, but it has established some sort of network of
Yeah.
kid spies, which reminds me of.
Well, very much
Varys,
Varys,
yeah.
because Varys grew up from nothing too, and like
Correct.
so very much in that end. With who knows, maybe that'll bring about the Master of Whispers, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe because that was Varys' position to have information.
Yeah.
So definitely they showed us that scene for a reason.
And then Otto refers to his contact as the White Worm.
Which is obviously we already know it's Damon's White Worm didn't get anywhere, so it's not him.
Well, it didn't go into the person that,
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, the scene that we saw, but it might have gone into. But anyways, he fucks like an emo guy, right? Remember last time he was having sex and he started crying or complaining.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, take it easy.
That's
like,
how Prince is bone.
Yeah, I was like, never mind. Let's not even get into that.
Yeah.
But he
so it seems like he's alluding to the fact that it might be
I think
mistress,
the
right?
White Worm, it's Massaria. She's always, and that's when it clicked. I was like, she's always wearing a white gown. She doesn't mix it up.
I still hate her accent, but whatever.
Yeah, we can. Well, yes, that doesn't.
I just feel like I'm hearing a fortune teller. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't like it,
I don't
but
like it
anyway,
either,
but
but-
yeah. So I do think that's important to mention.
It's
and
important
we'll
to
see.
mention. I think she's going to play a major role because she's obviously feeding information to Otto, right?
Which is
and
pretty
she's-
high up.
High up on this side. Let's just call it two sides of right now, right? This side and this side for now. So Otto's over here, and the one that's most opposite to Otto is Damon, and Damon's obviously she was involved intimately
Yeah,
with
they're
him.
and their
So-
vendettas.
Keep in mind that the stepstones, the war at the stepstone lasted 3 years. So she was at Dragonstone, and all of a sudden she's back in King's Landing and she's in the brothel, but she's obviously not a prostitute anymore. She probably is some sort of pimp or whatever she's doing now.
Yeah.
It's more on the back
Well,
end.
it's probably information is probably enough. I think that's what she was saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how her character develops. But then after that, so we already have that little.
But we see how she says not so common, and then Damon still mocks her. Okay, saved by a not so common whore.
Yeah,
And I
but
was like, all right.
she's already been.
All right,
she
too.
gives herself more credit too. Prior, she's
now.
been. She has she has decent self worth.
She does. She definitely
Since
has an
the
ego.
beginning.
Like, but But I guess all I'm saying is that I do think she's gonna play a bigger role later.
Yeah.
And he's not paying attention.
No, but I
He's
think
not
that's
paying
I think that's
He's just like, whatever, you dumb whore. Like, I was
yeah.
like, nah, dude, pay attention. She
Yeah.
just paid this kid in front of you. You didn't even ask why.
Yeah, but he doesn't pay attention. It's this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Uh,
But then after that, we do go ahead and lead into after that kid, like rats on him,
yeah.
and Otto gets that information.
Mm-hmm.
What we get a glimpse of is that Allison sees when Otto is having that conversation with him,
Yeah.
and so she goes back, and since she's kind of starting to have a relationship again
Yeah.
with Rhaenyra, again they go to the Godswood, which seems to be a place of truth, and we'll see. I'm interested to see if the Godswood ends up being a place of like where we as the viewers can trust that people will tell their truths, or it'll be factual, or if people or if the showrunners decide to make it also a deceitful place. But-
Imagine you and I at the Gods, and then we're like, Jasmine, the other day when we were in the car and I said I didn't fart, I did, and that's why I smell like shit in the car. But I'm only saying that because I'm right here in the Godswoods.
Yeah, I mean, and I would have been like, I've known this whole time. I hella smelled that.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a nose.
Yeah. I
But
have
yeah.
a nose, dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't have to bring me here.
I knows.
Oh, God.
But anyways, so yeah, so they go into it, and she's all distraught because it's a big deal to lose your womanhood, like,
Yeah.
right, to be before getting married, especially if you're a higher up.
Yeah.
But they kind of get into it.
Yeah. They get into it, kind of, but she didn't lie to her. She says, we didn't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
she's like, no, we didn't do anything. We
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
Well, they kind of did something.
Well,
Right.
but she said that they didn't bone. She specified because she was trying not to lie.
Like Bill Clinton.
Yes.
What do you mean
yes.
by yeah.
I did not have sexual intercourse
Yeah.
with that woman.
Yeah. What does that mean, you know?
So he said that with my uncle.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So it was very much that.
Yeah.
She also didn't give extraneous information. She didn't say I had sex with Kristen Hot D. Now she knows.
Yeah, I'd tell everybody.
I mean, I think she wants to. But
Yeah.
anyways, so yeah. So she specifies she is honest with her.
Yeah. And then we have the king meets up with Damon, right? And Damon's half drunk or whatever. I don't know what the fuck he is.
Also,
'cause
Allison believed her. It's important to know.
Allison believed her.
Yeah, but then the kings go straight to the source, but
Yeah.
not really.
I guess not really, but he brings Damon into, well, the Kingsguard bring him into the I don't know what that room is called, but where
throne room?
The throne room. I guess it's that simple, huh?
I'm
The
like-
throne room. And then where I was like, where the fuck is Viserys? And then he's in the shadows on the side, and he comes over and fucking kicks his brother or whatever. And yeah, he tells him, I've always defended you, and this is what you do. And then he's telling him what, you dishonored her, and now who will take her? And then he goes like, I'll fucking take her, dude. And
well,
then
he's
like,
basically like, yeah, you fucked her life and you fucked my life up too.
yeah, but then he admits of, yeah, I fucked her. Like, he doesn't say it like that, but he doesn't deny it. And we know that he didn't.
Yeah, but that's the
So
point.
That's what I was gonna get
Yeah.
at. So his point wasn't really even to fuck her. I don't think. We see it at the brothel, and we see it here again, because he doesn't even say, "Oh, you know what? I didn't fuck her, brother. I almost fucked her. I could have fucked her."
Well, and then the thing is, right? Like
Yeah.
he's also, because he tells her like, you know what? I want her, marry her off to me.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if you think about that scene with the play, he's
Yeah.
also kind of, and the scene at the Godswood, he's prepping Rhaenyra to accept a husband, right? Except like you should get married, like that's what you got to do or whatever. So
No.
I feel like he's almost prepping her to
He's
like
primering her
to
to
be like, well, look, you already like me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, and then
Yeah.
so I think he's kind of prepping her too,
Mhm.
unbeknownst to her, like grooming her in a way.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I think he's kind of also prepping her in that way. But in either case, so yeah, they go through all of that jazz, and then
Well, after that, he says, you know, uh, you. He sends him off to the Vale again with his wife, and then as you wish.
banish him again.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's obviously not gonna listen, but the king is weak, and once again, I think he should have killed his brother because it's just gonna be problems. But he's not gonna do it, otherwise there's no story, right? So that happens, and then we have a scene with the king. Viserys now meets up with Allison, and so Kristen Cole comes in, and he he walks into her chamber, and she's all gets a little giddy and goes like, "Come here," like, and she
Yeah.
probably wanted to give him a little
Yeah.
smoochy,
She's
and then
not
she's
she's
like,
not
"Nope,
embarrassed about it.
no."
He's ashamed.
Well, but no time for smoochies right now. No kisses, no nothing. Hey, the king has something new. And then
Yeah, she gets
it's the
there. She's like,
walk.
ah, shit.
I don't know if you got those walks, but sometimes they're like, hey, dad's calling you, dude. And you're like, oh, fuck. And sometimes you're about to get a beating or whatever. And that's kind of what I felt that walk was like. Here we go. Fuck.
Well, she also just did something pretty gnarly, and she's
Yeah.
like, shit, does somebody know?
Yeah, what do they know? Like,
Yeah, they don't. Even when Allison summoned
and
her.
now, well, I think she knows kind of what's gonna happen because Allison told her like, "Hey, this happened. This is what they told your dad, and they told your dad, dude. My dad told
Yeah.
your dad. My dad.
Yeah, so they
And
go.
so she knows what's happening now, and she's walking. She goes in, and then fuck, and the moment, it almost feels like they go through this shit every other day, right? Like she battles her dad, and her dad is fucking frustrated, and this is happening. You gotta listen, and um, she denies it again, but she's somewhat telling the truth. Then nothing. I mean, I don't want to say nothing happened, but they didn't have
No,
sex.
but what he's asking her didn't happen.
Correct.
So she's being honest about it. Also, he didn't. You can see how much he respects her
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't ask her first. He already knows how Damon is.
Mm-hmm.
Knows he's a fucking liar and knows he would go as far.
But also tells her it doesn't. It
Yes.
doesn't matter now because that's what people think. Perception.
Yeah, but he didn't bother to ask her first and be like, "Hey, why are you saying that you fucked my daughter?"
Yeah.
He's not doing that. That just goes to show how the hierarchy exists within the king's mind also.
Yeah.
Who does he value first? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So in either case, like, I just thought that was interesting too. The order of things shows how much he values her.
It could be.
Well, even the whole choosing a suitor thing. They're discussing it and he's kind of saying, "All right, well, yeah." Even before talking to her to being like, "Did you even like anybody? Did you
Yeah.
whatever? What were your reasons for coming back?" Like he doesn't care. He doesn't value her opinion. She's
When
a
you-
pawn.
I thought you were gonna say, "Do you even throw 'em, bro?"
Yeah, do you even throw, bro?
So at the end, I think that conversation, I didn't think it was gonna lead to anything other than like admonishing her for what she did and fucking, maybe um, telling her that she's no longer the heir, right? And whatever. But he just look. I think it was a decent scene by Varys actually because he starts off by Viserys, sorry, and he starts off by putting the dagger in the fire so she can see what in his mind is the bigger picture. I am trusting you with this, and you're doing this bullshit. There's a bigger picture here, and you need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's showing her. And then look at what this says, and us as the viewers that have seen the other series, like, fucking listen to him. Don't be, like we know the so.
Yeah.
So we're like, but so that's I love when they do those little nods at the what's to come because we've seen what's to come a little bit, so that's always cool. But he's also like approaching it and like, look, I trusted you with this, and this is happening, and she tells him like, look, nothing happened, and then what would Damon own up to something? It was like, come on, dude, you know why? So they have a moment of sincerity, and then she tells him like, well, fine, I'll succumb to your request to marry somebody.
But
However, you have to do your duty as king, and then that's when I think he listens because he like you have a hand that's that benefits. Yeah, you have a hand and a half because he's not.
Oh yeah,
this
no.
is, and and
Yeah, he's spying on. He's willing to spy
on her.
on people. Well, and who knows what else he's doing, right? He's willing to spy on me, and he was able to get that information. Who's to say he's not spying on you? Spying on Allison? Spying on
Yeah.
people he shouldn't be. People he should trust.
Because he has a motive.
Because he's only there to advise you
Yeah.
on decisions that you're thinking of making. He shouldn't be grabbing, getting leverage on you or me.
Yeah.
For what?
So she agrees to getting married to Lenor Valerian. And but you have to address this issue. And then we cut to the next scene where him and Otto are about to address the issue, right? He lets them go.
You're fired.
You're fired. And he tells them why, and then it's a valid reason. Now,
Dracarys.
by the way, it starts off by saying 5 days. And then he goes, say what? He's like, 5 days. My father, and that was healthy, a warrior, right? So he's giving you his dad's resume. Like, there's no reason for his dad to have died 5 days after he was named Hand of the King. So, which we didn't know this. I didn't know this, right? So then I'm like, what the fuck is going on here with the 5 days? And then he tells you, yeah, so my dad was a warrior. My dad was healthy. And then all of a sudden he gets appointed Hand of the King. And then 5 days later, something happened with his belly, and then that's it.
I thought that was the hand.
Well, what do you mean?
I thought that he was talking about the hand.
That was his father was the hand for 5 days, is what he was saying.
Hmm.
So the hand did die, right? But the hand was his father for 5 days.
Hmm.
After that, then you have
Yeah.
what a how good for you. And that's what he was addressing. And then I think Rhaenyra kind of took the blindfold off, maybe, because we didn't know that, right?
Doesn't mean he did anything.
Doesn't mean he didn't.
I don't know
I mean,
if
he did.
or didn't,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily mean he did it, you know?
Yeah. So I wonder if we're going to see how that actually unfolded. If we'll actually maybe on a flashback or some sort of confession at some point.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that little story. But
then even after that, but then basically he fires him. That's where they end up. So now it's up to Rhaenyra to hold her under the bargain.
yeah.
But nobody really knows other than whoever's had this discussion internally. All of this has been kept internally. Nobody else knows about the whole Daemon debacle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Other than obviously the little bird or, Missaria. So then afterwards we go to a scene where they go to they clip over to a maester walking in with a tea, and it turns out to be moon tea. It turns out to be given to
I didn't know what moon tea was.
To Rhaenyra. And moon tea, comment if you know what moon tea is. But
if you don't,
we'll let you know,
us?
but just tell us I knew and
Okay.
we'll know. But in either case, it's basically like it's plan B. Right? It's like, hey,
Yeah.
just in case, which also gives you insight into the fact that Viserys doesn't believe her.
Yes.
Doesn't believe her. Because he's giving this, and they're willing to tell the maesters to the point, to that point.
See, now
So it's also a big deal.
It's also spreading, right? Now they know.
Also, I think it's important too. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a scene prior to Alicent getting boned. She didn't know she was going to get boned that night, but she it was also after the conversation that she had with Rhaenyra about having kids and popping them out and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like she also was stirring down some tea too, which I thought,
is she making her own moon
I
tea?
thought she didn't want to have any more kids, because you also have her think about like the scene with Alicent and Aegon is he's crying and all this stuff, and also she has that conversation with Rhaenyra where she also kind of
Alicent
says it's not ideal.
Alicent and the baby?
No, Alicent and
You said Aegon.
Well, yes, at first, Allison and Aegon, she's holding the baby and he's
Yeah.
crying and he's kind of like fussy and stuff.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily a great depiction of her life at this point
Yeah.
in this
well,
whole episode. And she has that conversation at the beginning with Rhaenyra
Yeah.
on how, oh, well, yeah, you're supposed to pop out babies. How great of a life is that?
And she's going through. That's what I'm saying. She's going through that.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. They show us, and
Yeah.
she is like, she's kind of like stirring this tea. And like at that point, the first thing I thought was, oh shit, it's moon tea. Like she doesn't want to have any more kids, or
Yeah.
maybe she wants to control the fact if she wants them or not.
I didn't even know that was what it was called. Yeah, I heard you say moon tea 3 times. I was like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's
Like, who's Monty?
yeah, I was like moon tea.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was like, dude, it's
There's no
moon
moon
tea.
teas. That's
I
like,
was like, whatever.
is that an animal? What is that?
Yeah.
It's
But in
uh,
either case, I think she's doing the same thing, but to get control of her life
yeah.
or control in general over something, right? But yeah,
but-
and then we go into that's pretty much how it ends, to where you held up your end of the bargain, I'll hold up mine.
Yeah.
And then we go into the preview, right?
Yeah, so the preview, we see there's going to be a royal wedding. I'm a little nervous. We see some fighting. We know how weddings can go in this type of fucking series. So, but it's going to be her marrying Corliss's kid, who is...
Or at least the introduction, because we
The
don't really
introduction.
know.
Oh, it could be like the wedding shower is what you're saying.
Well, it seems like everybody, this is the intent. Now
Yeah.
let's have the families meet. Because the sea snake also hasn't been contacted, right? With this
No.
proposition. So I think that maybe we'll see that next episode, and then they'll
Mhm.
meet, and then maybe we'll see if
Some
there
sparks.
is a union. Maybe. I hope so, because I
Yeah.
think he's a good catch for her. Probably not, because
Well, they're
she's
both
obviously,
from the only 2 Valyrian families left.
well, she's into blondes.
She's into... But I don't think he's a blonde. He's a
He's-
platinum.
I thought, well, platinum. So
I'm kidding.
I'm like,
Aye.
but anyways, yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm excited
Okay.
to see
I'm
what goes
excited to see
on.
them there. I want to see if like there's some sparks if like Damon's gonna be like "Ugh,
Jealous.
I'm gonna kill him or whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
Sir
the
Kristen will be
dynamic.
cool.
I don't know.
I think maybe internally, but I also think he's such an honorable dude. He didn't even want a boner at first. We'll see.
We will see.
Also, episode 4, we don't really know him that well, so
yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, so then we'll see next episode. It looks like it'll be pretty like quick paced, I think.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up another episode. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, please, and share the podcast. So if you guys have any friends that you think might like or get a kick out of our show, and also our Game of Thrones / House of the Dragon fans, go ahead and send them our way.
Yep.
Also remember that we are on Apple Podcasts if you want to just listen to us, or if you want to,
Spotify.
and Spotify.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
so
try to
anywhere you find
release
your podcast.
our audios every Thursday, videos every Friday.
Yeah.
Also, I think I forgot, but I did pour us a little bit of an extra shot again.
All right, cool.
You
Let's
know,
do it.
So let's.
we'll send off this episode with another shot. All right.
All right,
you
everyone.
gonna
So
pour another one?
cheers. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pour it. Cheers. Thank you for joining us. Give us any notes, anything you guys want to let us know, and we will talk
See
to
you
you next
next week.
week.
Bye-bye.